Is Feng Shui legitimate or is it superstition? I'm Corinne, I'm a Feng Shui consultant, and today I want to help you understand just how much Feng Shui can do for you. I want to use one of my previous clients' home as an example. After I did the evaluation on her home and sat down and was explaining the missing sectors, she started sharing that she's been looking for work for a while. And I was absolutely dumbfounded because she's extremely intelligent and very capable. I wouldn't think that this woman would have any difficulty finding a job. But it was for reasons like she was overqualified. So clearly she was just having some bad luck in this area. Her daughter had a bad situation at school, and so she was trying to get her daughter a new school situation, and maybe that meant private school. So, that kind of leaned on her finding a job that she could afford private school for her daughter. She also felt disconnected from her community. She is missing 3 sectors. Can you guess what those sectors are? The most obvious one was the career and life path, completely missing from the home. Another sector missing was knowledge and cultivation. The 3rd sector that was missing was community, family, and health. They did have a sector for wealth and abundance, but they weren't using that room. So you tell me, is that coincidence or is that energy? I think it's energy. I found it interesting that everything is waiting on finances, but they weren't getting any answers. They weren't going anywhere. It's like hitting your head on a brick wall. But it was an easy fix as a Feng Shui consultant. I would go in and turn this room that they're not using as a beautiful room, make it into like a living room or a family room where they would spend a lot of time. And then in that room, I would create the missing sectors, the career, the community, and the knowledge sector. I could create those in that room. But the key point there that would need to happen is it would need to be a room that they all spent time in, and then create that environment, that energy within that room. So it is an easy fix if you understand Feng Shui. Now I'm going to use myself as an example. When we moved into this house, I was not very knowledgeable about Feng Shui. This is before I started studying and before I was certified. We added on to our basement 1 bedroom, a laundry room, a bathroom, and a multi-purpose room. So of course my son was in the bedroom, and then when I was learning Feng Shui and learning about how to read energy, I realized that there was sickness in the room that my son was in, and he happened to be having some serious breathing issues, which was absolutely scary. So I'm like, wow, that's crazy that Feng Shui told me that there's sickness in this room. I wonder if it really is this room. So, we tried a bunch of things to help with his breathing, and nothing was really seeming to work. And then one night I couldn't sleep because I was worried about him. I realized that there was a radon extraction tube in his room. I didn't want to risk it. So I ended up moving him to the multi-purpose room. That was a sacrifice for me because I was using it as a room where I teach martial arts. I'm also a martial arts instructor. I just do it voluntarily. I don't make money. I was an instructor for 8 years in California, and I loved it. And it's just kind of accountability for me to stay in shape. But I sacrificed that studio, that room for him, and now he's in that room. And not only is his health much better, he doesn't have breathing issues anymore, but he's thriving in all areas of his life. He's actually making twice as much money as he was making before he moved in that room. He loves his new job. He just, his health is amazing. His spirits are better. He is just enjoying his new space. And we turned that smaller room into my husband's secondary office because he primarily works from, the main office. Feng Shui is based on energy, and if you have a correct Feng Shui reading on your home, it can be absolutely life-changing. When hiring a Feng Shui consultant, I recommend getting to know them because Feng Shui is very personal. You're going to be inviting them into your home and sharing personal information with them based on the areas of your life that you want to see change in. And if it's somebody that you're not comfortable with, they might not be the best fit for you. I hope something in this video cleared up any concerns that you might have that you'd be wasting your money. If you don't want to waste your money on a Feng Shui consultant, don't hire one if you're not ready for change. Because I guarantee a Feng Shui consultant is going to come in and say something like, you need to get rid of 20% of your items because your house is too cluttered, or you need to swap rooms and put your office where your son's room is and your son's room where your office is. And it can be inconvenient. It can feel like a hassle. Do you have to implement these changes? No. But if you don't want to make changes, don't hire a Feng Shui consultant, because that's exactly what they're going to come in and do. And they're going to help you create a home with the most positive energy flow that you can possibly have and protect you from negative energy. That's worth a lot of money to me. Feng Shui consultants can make up to $150 an hour. I don't know what a Feng Shui master would charge, but Feng Shui masters are kind of hard to come by in the States. Primarily they come from China, India, maybe Japan, but to become a Feng Shui master, you have to apprentice for 10 years under a master. And in the States, that's really rare to come by. What a Feng Shui consultant can figure out in 1 hour could be huge. I know that it doesn't take me too long to do a reading on a home. It really just depends on the size of the home. But the more information that you give a Feng Shui consultant, the more they can hone in on the energetic needs. You know, make a list. Make a list of the things in your life where you feel like there's some stuck energy, or you feel, like you could use a little boost, a little help, a little good luck. Is it worth $150 to get a Feng Shui reading on your home? That's a question only you can answer. But to me, that would be a no-brainer because it could be absolutely life-changing. Thank you for watching. I hope you got something from this video, and don't forget to like and subscribe.